Hey everyone, welcome back. This is episode 2 of RAD Garage Wash and Chat. Today I'm going to be foaming the SQ5. It's going to be a little tricky talking while I foam because my pressure washer makes so much noise, so I think I have a plan though. Once it's foamed, I'll take some time to explain my process a little bit and continue to answer some interesting questions that viewers have been sending in. Yeah, it's going to be fun. This car is very dirty, as you've already seen, and it really needs a wash. Today's a nice day, so let's get this started. Okay, I've got my foam cannon all loaded up and I'm ready to go. I'm going to do the top and the driver's side, then the back, then the passenger side, then the front. Here we go. Inside the car. Hate it when I forget that. Lights could turn off, that'd be great. Why won't they turn off? Nice thick layer of Adam's Mega Foam on there now. Just gotta find my nozzle spray tip. Okay, before I power wash it, I should have gloves, but we're in a bit of a hurry. I usually take my time with this process and film everything in slow-mo. There's a lot of little crevices here where dirt likes to hide. So I get in there with my little detailing brush. This rear wiper is such a dirt collector. I actually took it off on my old SQ5, but decided I won't do that on this one. I don't use it much because I don't like the scratches it can leave when you use a wiper on a very mud encrusted window. All right, now up underneath the deck lid here, there's some little camera, make sure I get in there. All I have in here is just a mixture of Mega Foam and water. As we'll get the plate. My wife's not a fan of the license plate. We were at a hockey tournament in Golden, British Columbia, and I was unloading the back and I went into the hotel to check our bags in, and a couple locals sort of razzed her a little bit about being a Flames fan, and she's not one to like that kind of attention. I don't know anyone who is, but I found it kind of funny. Now on the lower valance back here, there are some faux exhaust tips that are not stylistically my taste, but man, are they easier to keep clean than actual stainless steel exhaust tips. Can't say I like the look, but I do like the maintenance. But dirt does like to hide down in here. I don't know if you can see on camera. Okay, just gotta get the emblem. A couple people have asked me if I want to debadge. I don't like debadging. This doesn't have a lot of badges all over it. I like the SQ5 logo emblem. Okay, a lot of little spaces dirt likes to hide, even from the pressure washer. I get a couple questions about why I don't always use a pressure washer after foaming, and I'll be honest, I don't really have a good answer. Sometimes it's just I don't want to use a pressure washer, but I do think it's best to use a pressure washer, obviously. But I don't do the exact same wash every time. Most of it's the same, but I like to do things a little differently. Plus, time is also a factor. Being a one-car family, I don't often have as much time as I wish I had when I'm doing a wash. Some of you lucky people with more than one car don't know what I'm talking about, but at any point, my wife could come in and say, we need bread. And it happens. Happens too often. Okay. I sure like the front end of this generation SQ5 more than the other one. This grille is just way more integrated into the body. The other one just sort of sat on the front end. This one basically constitutes the front end. It's kind of got a more 3D appearance. Really impressed with the style of this B9 SQ5. Okay. I do like to go bottom to top actually sometimes. So when you rinse the top off, by the time you get to the bottom, all that foam is gone. So lots of people ask me how do I not get spray everywhere, and it's by just being careful and not just spinning my nozzle all around. Alright, I'll bring you around to the back. That's a fun spot. Yeah, by working bottom to top, you're not rinsing away the foam when you finally get down to the bottom. That's the spot right there that attracts a lot of hidden dirt. So it's nice to spray that out. Plus there's a seam between the body and the plastic trim under here. Get right in there. the driver's side to do. I'll take the camera over there. There's one seam down here on the lower rocker where I like to get dirt loves to hide in here. One of these days I will upgrade my power washer, pressure washer system, because I hate it. The cord is just brutal. I don't know if it's just me or if that's all cords, but I'm often frustrated. Okay, let me take you over here to the hood. Yeah, so this is the one area where I have to be careful I don't spray this soap to that wall or that wall. So I kind of start in the middle and just gently sweep my way left and right. With the performance of the Adams ceramic coating I put on in the fall, it stood up pretty good. I just have to get down in where the wipers hide that. Tighter on the front because my garage is only about, at this point, I think it's only 20 feet deep. Man, I wish I had an extra 4 feet here. I have 4 feet over in that corner, but just not here. After 10 years, I've made it work. I found my ways. Okay, how would you guys like to watch me 2-bucket wash this bad boy? At this point of the project, I ran into some very complex technical issues that make it hard for me, well, impossible for me to bring you the 2-bucket wash with sound. Apparently, I didn't know this, you needed to turn your mic on. So, oof. Who would have known? So what I was thinking I will do is I will share the visual footage of me giving the car a 2-bucket wash, and I will basically re-answer the questions that I was responding to during it. All right, so it's not optimum, but you know, this is what happens when you try something new, right? So as I was washing the car using my 2-bucket method, I answered one viewer's question about how long this garage took to create, and was it something that I had planned out, or was it something that just evolved along the way? And the quick answers is, you know, it still continues to evolve. I never really had a plan like some people have. I started by primering with white primer the whole place. I did paint the far wall gray. I bought a floor from a competitor to Swisstrax, and I bought a few Craftsman components, and I was really done at that point. And then I started sharing my garage project with people through the Garage Journal website, and it started to evolve even quicker than that. So here we are 9, almost 10 years later, and the garage is pretty much perfect and pretty much complete. And instead of working on the garage, I work in the garage. But it was never something that I sat down with and envisioned from the beginning. And I don't know if I would have been able to do it, because 9 years ago, I was just happy to have a house. I had been living overseas in little apartments in Asia, had a flat in New Zealand with a bunch of flatmates. I hadn't really had a home of my own, so just having a garage was amazing to me, let alone envisioning this. So I like the way it's evolved. It's been a fun journey. On my website, I share a lot of pictures of the evolution. I'm not gonna lie, looking back on some of the choices I made in the past are quite cringe, but you know, that's what happens with an evolution. So yeah, thanks for that question. Also, while I was 2-bucket washing this car, I was discussing the rationale behind my choice to go with a Swisstrax floor versus leaving it bare concrete or painting the concrete or even having it epoxy coated. And there's 2 primary reasons, and they might surprise you. It's not really the looks, although I do enjoy the way it looks. It's the water. So I do washing in this garage periodically. Not as regularly as I think some people might think, but what does happen a lot is, well, 8 months a year, is snow and ice is dragged into this garage underneath my car, where it falls off and melts. So from about September or August till May, sometimes June, there is permanently water on this floor by virtue of the car going in and out. And this floor system allows me to operate in a dry environment despite that water that is continuously dripping off my car. I could see if you lived in a dry climate where it didn't rain much, didn't snow much, this might not be the best choice for you. But there was a point where when I upgraded to Swisstrax from the old floor, there was a 2-week period where I was without it, and it was miserable for me because it was, I think it was late October, and we did have some snow, and every day I would come into this garage, snow would fall on the bare concrete floor like it does now, and it would just pool. And my floor is pitched so that the water goes out the front right corner, but that's right underneath the passenger rear door where my son gets out. And one day he got out and stepped in mud, because it isn't just water, it's mud. Every flake of snow is built around a dust particle, I'm starting to learn. So I had mud on the floor. He stepped in it, didn't know. He was only probably 8 at the time, and he started to walk around, and he walked right into our mud room and tracked mud the whole way. And there's nothing I could do about it because it was -19, -20 degrees outside. So it's not like I could just rinse this bare concrete floor out onto a driveway that, then becomes a skating rink. So at least with the floor system I have, that muddy water, that muddy runoff isn't going to be tracked around the garage. So that's number one. Number two is when I do wash, I don't like walking around in water. And this floor allows me to always be walking on a dry floor. Not to say epoxy isn't a great option, but I did consider it, and the local guys that do professional installs of epoxy floors wanted upwards of $5,000 to do this garage, including the stem wall all around. So my first tile floor was less than half that, and I sold it for about half what I paid when I bought my new floor. So there are definite pluses to this type of floor, but I could see that if you're not needing to deal with those issues because of where you are and what you do in your garage, then yeah, it might not make sense. But for people to tell me that it's a waste of time is just really, it's ignorant. It's a great system for me. I don't mind cleaning my garage floor. Some people think that there's some kind of magic floor solution out there that will keep their floor clean. Please let me know. I don't know of one that self cleans itself. So About once a month I do a full clean if the weather permits, and I'll pull my floor out onto the driveway like I'm sure you've seen in past videos, and I'll clean it and drag it back in. Before that I'll make sure that I've cleared off the floor underneath, and I'll go a good month with just lightly mopping it. So yeah, for me, I'm not trying to sell anybody on the idea. You do what floor you feel is best, but for me it's been really great, and it's been a decision that I've never second guessed. Okay, I think I fixed the technical issues. I turned the little button on the microphone from off to on, so all right, we're ready to go. I have just done about an 80% dry of the SQ5 with my Master Blaster. I'm now going to spend some time just getting into the little crooks and crannies and mirrors as well to make sure she's completely dry before applying a layer of ceramic boost. So I'm going to grab my headphones again, and I'm going to film this part. It's going to be loud, I'm warning you now. I'm not sure the camera picked that up, but just in this molding, in the mirror housing, there is quite a lot of moisture, so I could spend another 2 minutes on it, but I don't want to waste valuable time, your time. So I'll just do a few more of these areas. Maybe I'll speed up the footage, but yeah, there's about 20% of the car that I need to go over with and just make sure when I get down into that seam there, it's possible that it also blows out some dirt, and that's always a bit of a pain, but it's better to get it out than to leave it there. The rear of the car is the most satisfying to use the Master Blaster on because there's a lot of water that hides underneath the winds, the back glass here and underneath, and in the emblems and in the little creases and in the license plate. So I'm just going to bring the Master Blaster around and hit those areas. I know some people like to use a leaf blower, but in my garage I don't think that would be practical. It would be too cumbersome. I don't have a lot of room over here. So, plus I really like the fact that the Master Blaster shoots warm filtered air. It's a bit loud though. Gotta have headphones. All right, so that concludes the Master Blast stage. So I will now just tidy up the garage a little bit and enter into the final stage after that, called Ceramic Boost. Final pro tip for anybody considering a Master Blaster, or maybe you even have one. It's always a good idea if you're putting it away in a tight space to do it while the hose is warm. Trust me. Okay, so one of the final steps, second final step, before I dress the tires, is to apply Adam's Ceramic Boost. It's supposed to boost my ceramic coating. I think it does. I like to use one of these, I think they're double plush Adams towels, really nice. I just work it onto the whole surface. And I'll flip it in a second and buff it off. But yeah, do the flip. All right, listen everyone, I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show a little footage of the tire dressings, but that's pretty much a wrap. It's been great having you along, sharing in the experience with me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And thanks for being a part of my first ever Rad Garage Wash and Chat. Take care.